Today on the channel, our Jax Classic Superstars tag team unboxings continue. Today, Alpha, Sika, the Wild Samoans.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Jax Classic Superstars tag team unboxing. And today on the channel, we've got Alpha, we got Sika, we got the Wild Samoans. But remember, for all your modern day wrestling figure needs, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. We're throwing it all the way back to the tag team exclusive series with Alpha and Sika, the Wild Samoans. And I gotta tell you guys, this is one of the all-time peg-warming greats from the Classic Superstars line. Like I said, this was a Toys R Us exclusive back in the day, and this was actually still on the pegs at the end of the Classic Superstars run at my local Toys R Us. They just could not give this bad boy away for whatever reason. Alpha, Sika, the Wild Samoans, especially in the 2000 era. The Samoan dynasty, not quite what it is right now with the bloodline and stuff like that going on with Roman Reigns and his historic title reign, things like that with all of the Samoan legacy there. Mid-2000s, you basically had Rikishi holding the legacy down, and Rikishi a bit of a comedy act at that point, of course. So maybe not all the old school love for the Samoans, especially the Wild Samoans back at this time frame. But I think if the Wild Samoans came out now, there'd be a lot more people picking it up just because of the Usos and Roman Reigns and Solo and all that kind of stuff going on in the history of wrestling right now as we're filming this one. Of course, we're going to do this unboxing like we do all the other ones here on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And this, of course, is quite the set, but like I said, peg warmer extraordinaire at the end of the day. Just didn't quite resonate with the fans, the audience, the Toys R Us consumer, we'll call it there. But a very heavy set, two big heavy figures here. A lot of accessories with this one as well. Big window boxes we're accustomed to. Classic Superstars packaging, we know it, we love it. The Wild Samoans on the side, let's say here. The Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika. There it is there. And then a little glamour shot of both their heads on this side. In the back of the package, look at that, there it is. Get the big cross-sell down below, but usually it's a tag team cross-sell. Not the case in this one here. You got UPC's warnings, things like that. They're promoting the solo set right there. Looking really good, though. Series 6, of course. Earthquake, Andre the Giant, Shawn Michaels, Hawk and Animal, Doink the Clown, One Man Gang, Coco Beware, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Very, very cool, though. We like that. Then it does have the blurbs back here for Alpha and Sika. Let's start it off with old Alpha here. Debuted 1971, 326 pounds, 6'2". Finishing move, of course, the Samoan drop. Titles, WWE World Tag Team Champions. Of course, managed by Captain Lou Albano for a time as well. Very iconic tag team, especially back in the old days. One of the first real tag teams that felt like a unit. A lot of time it was just two guys kind of thrown together way back in the 70s. You had the Kangaroos and things like that in the 60s, but for the most part it was just two guys and their names. This was actually a team, the Wild Samoans. Sika debuted in 75, 319 pounds, also 6'2". Finishing move, the Samoan drop, and believe it or not, WWE World Tag Team Champion once again. So there we go. Off of Sika, beat up packaging here. Got the J-hook falling off. Just a perfect opener. I hate taking minty ones out of circulation if I don't have to. This one is one. It's begging to be opened. It's been seen better days, but Alpha and Sika, it's funny, is a lot of these you see out there on eBay and stuff are damaged packaging because they peg warm for so many years. They got beat up and moved around the store multiple times, and especially the Classic Superstars box with the star, very easy to get beat up. So very hard to get this set mint on card these days, I've noticed. But let's get old Alpha and Sika out. Let's see what all the fuss is about with these two. And oh boy, there's been some fuss, especially in the Isle of Samoa. You Samoans fussing about Alpha and Sika still after all these years. I get it, I get it. There it is, goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. And then we do get the cookie sheet here. Of course, the Samoans known for eating raw meat, killing people out there, being total savages, and also making an amazing batch of chocolate chip cookies back in the locker room. Some more you might know there, right there. So there it is. And Alpha Sika, there they are, big heavy figures like I did say. And we got an extra ring bell with them as well, the patented Jax ring bell. Pop that one off. There we go. And there we go. Whoop, almost threw it. Almost lost this one. Uh-oh, it's tied in. You don't see that anymore. It is actually tied in with the thread. Got to cut it out. Very interesting dynamic here with the, I believe these are called lavas. I think I was corrected at one time about these. They're not sarongs. If it's sarong, I don't want to be right. See you later. But I think they're called lavas. L-A-V-A, L-A-V-A. I believe that is the case. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm big in Samoa. These episodes, everybody loves classic superstars in Samoa. So some Samoans out there could probably help me out. But it's not necessarily a sarong. It's a lava. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you do get 2 of these. Nice cloth style. Very, very cool. I like what I see here. And they got little clips on them here. So little plastic clips. It's very detailed for something like this. So I'm here for that. I love that. Very cool to really class these 2 up if you need to. Of course, the Jakks ring bell. We've seen it a million times. It's so funny they use that old decrepit ring bell all the time. But you know what? Got to get the most out of your molds, as they always do say here. But let's take a look at Afa and Sika. I guess we'll look at Afa first here. Now, Afa does have his lava on him. And so we'll pull that off right there. Obviously the same thing twice. Very cool. And then you get the plain Jane kind of tights underneath. All in black with a little bit of yellow. But you do got Samoa on the side, on each side. So a little bit of detail there. Of course, they use the big gigantic Yokozuna body mold. Kind of works, but really doesn't work. We know how that goes. It just needs to be a step smaller, but honestly, not terrible. Not terrible for these guys, especially with the big head. One thing about that Yokozuna figure that was so weird was the small head. He has a very big head. Afa and Sika both do, with the big hair going there. One of the classic looks of the Samoans, too, was the crazy wild hair. They truly felt like wild Samoans. And it's crazy, you know, you go back to the 70s and stuff, people thought they really ate, like, meat and were cannibals, things like that. I mean, it's just crazy how the suspension of disbelief back in the day was. All these years later, it's hard to wrap our heads around that from time to time. But Sika looking really, really good. Always love most of the Jakks head sculpts. This one is a very good one as well. Big Fu Manchu kind of going on there. I think that's what it's called, Fu Manchu. I think so. Like a young Goose Gossage, of course. And we know the Samoans ran wild and still run wild today in California. That's kind of where they were based at San Francisco, I think. So we just got a little of that going on. The big hair as well. Articulation, usual articulation. Arms go around. Bicep cut. Single jointed elbow. Hands back and forth. Head back and forth, side to side. Waist articulation. Legs forward. Bend at the knee. Ankles back and forth. And that's it as far as articulation goes. But definitely, I think most people, if you know the history of your wrestling, somebody says, "Who is this?" You're gonna know. You might not know it's Afa. You might think it's Sika or vice versa. But I think you're gonna know it's the Samoans, the wild Samoans. Obviously, the Samoan dynasty is a big thing right now. It was a really big thing, and we had some dips and dives, I guess, of the Samoan legacy. But right now, it's at an all-time high with the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, and crew. Of course, I'm filming this in April of 2023, depending where you're watching this. But very, very cool here. And then you get Sika, very, very similar. Obviously, I think it's the exact same body. It is. It's the exact same legs, same everything. Even the hands are identical here with the wrist tape, the foot tape. It is basically 100% the same figure with a different head. So we're getting the most out of your molds. Some might say, well, that works out because they basically are kind of the similar body style. They're the same height, about the same weight. So I guess if we were in our own toy company, we probably would do basically the same thing. So I guess that does make a little bit of sense. Great head sculpt on Sika here. He's screaming and yelling. Love the big open mouth. Got the big old hair. The hair is different than Afa's. So it is what it is. I guess I can look past it in this case here between these two, because they are so similar. And a lot of people probably thought they were twins at the time. Who knows? But we do know Afa was older than Sika for sure. But very cool. And of course, Mattel later on, I believe, was it a Target exclusive? We got the Wild Samoans as well. And really, they did about the exact same thing. They gave us the same body twice. We got different hands, but different heads. So, you know, Mattel's a little guilty of the same thing. I guess the Samoans getting the most out of your molds, be it Jakks or Mattel. Doesn't really matter. They're getting the most out of their molds here. But very cool. And I think I prefer the Jakks Classic. I like the bodies a little bit more on the Elite, but the head sculpts are so good and so expressive. And then I love the soft goods lavas compared to the plastic ones we did get with Mattel. But both very cool figures, and I can see the Mattel ones rising in value. Like I keep going back to the Bloodline, getting that history of the Samoan legacy out there. And this is a bit of a sleeper, and it's funny as I talked about the Jakks Classic Superstars ones being such peg warmers. Well, the Mattel fared about the same. Those were deep peg warmers as well. So something about the Samoans and peg warming, I don't know, but I think if they did come out in the current Legends line, maybe they'd fare a little bit better. We'll see. I guess a lot of that is currently, as of I'm filming this, the Samoan SWAT team Head Shrinkers Legends line just came out. We'll see how well those do once they get a little bit more distribution to them. But very cool to go throw it all the way back to the Classic Superstars with the Samoan Dynasty. Very, very cool figures here with Afa and Sika. One of the greatest peg warmers, though, like I did say, in the history of the Jakks Classic Superstars line. But what say you guys out there in YouTube land? What are your thoughts on Afa and Sika and the Wild Samoans? Any history of you as a little kid seeing them in action? Do you know anything about them? Or are you all about the bloodline and don't want to look to the past? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the old notification bell. Every single Tuesday on the channel, we got a Jakks Classic Superstars video. You don't want to miss them, so make sure you do subscribe. Check out the Patreon for traditional videos much, much earlier, including a year ahead on a lot of these Classic Superstars videos. Very cool over there on the old Patreon, and best of all, you do support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget social media. SirPaul64 is where you're going to find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Afa and Sika and the Wild Samoans everywhere, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.